Okay, I have a funny story for you. We just went through this whole thing trying to get on Zoom, and we're going to share that with you guys. We're here to talk about what we're going to be doing for the retreat. And it's really funny. Once you decide that you're coming to this retreat, your retreat starts. And we've already been on this ride for a little while. So we had a fun little ride this morning, even getting on Zoom to talk about it. Um, which I think is so divine because Molly reminded us that it is Mother's Night,
Right. Yeah.
which is the solstice. Molly, can you summarize what you just said about Mother's Night, calling into the
Yeah.
divine feminine?
Yeah. Mother's Night is it's Germanic Anglo-Saxon start of Yule. And it's about bringing in the divine feminine to Yule for the 12 days of celebration. And it starts on bringing the light back in, right? So it's the divine feminine is the light.
I love it. And solstice is the return of the light, and today is solstice. So, I mean, I can't get any better than this. And we unstickified something for Bettina, which I'll let her put that into words if she feels.
Yeah.
Um, my my belief is that when there's like this roadblock, I actually worked with a coach. Shout out to Nicole Henry, who I dearly love, that shifted this for me, where she does this incredible, she was a business mentor. Now she's actually becoming a homeopath. Her again, I'm getting goosebumps. Return to what lights you up, right? What lights her up is helping people be well. And then something happened and something within her world got stopped. And I was like, you got to teach me on that cycle thing that you just said. She said, most people are in this cycle that's like this kind of circular cycle. They get all geared up to do something and they're excited. And then something starts stopping them. And they're like, well, maybe it's not meant to be. And so they stop. And then they gear up on something again. And they're always in this kind of endless loop. Versus if when they get geared up and they're at the top, instead of going back down, they just straighten the circle and go, "Ooh, I'm up against something here. I'm going to keep going because there's something trying to stop me, and if I keep going, some in my belief system, I go forward, I just do the next right step that's in front of me. And sometimes it's hard to keep pushing when you're like, I don't know, I feel like it's not meant to be.
Mhm.
That's when I know it's meant to be because it's trying to be stopped. And going forward has gotten me to these places where I didn't even think was possible to get. And this actually is something that I learned from Nicole Henry. So shout out to her. But we just were in this, Bettina couldn't get on. And she was like, maybe
Yeah.
it's meant to be. And I'm like, ooh, I think we're up to
No.
something really good here.
I definitely needed that message myself because I felt like even this morning when like the check-in, like, are we on today? I almost was like, no, but I was like, I can totally make this happen, like no reason for it. And then it was like missing the calls and then like back and forth. And we're on like what almost like 2 hours after what we were supposed to. And then the electronics were electronicking and every like it was like every block and absolutely for no reason because obviously, I have plenty of time today, and it's just mostly other things that are pulling me in different directions. But this, right, what you said, and I don't think you've never said that to me before, but that's such a huge message for me right now in my life because I realize that I kept getting the message energetically that I just need to take more action rather than get hung up because I get so much in my mental where I'm not even necessarily taking time in my body. I'm just caught up in the head spins of like what I'm gonna do, and I'm in this planning phase. And someone else recently told me they're like, you have the artist brain, you have all these ideas, but you have all these open tabs, and you're not clicking them off one at a time. So I'm like, oh, that's really take that in because it kind of pissed me off a little bit. But I was also like, oh, I do have all these open tabs. I do have all these amazing ideas that I want to share with people. And how can I start making that happen more? And like rather than waking up and doing like a slow morning process, I've been trying to like kind of alternate, like let me start moving right away and get to the gym or like activate. So And Molly, even what you described a minute ago, thank you for that, was this deep found. I literally felt right when we got on the call when you were talking. And even though you had just got done saying that, that second time I was really more zoned into the message. And I literally felt like a little cellular, like just upgrade in my body of like, oh, that's like the sleeping, like the night mother. It's like
Mhm.
it almost felt like, okay, we're asleep, but it's for this reason of this upgrade right now. And I love that our retreat is actually happening towards the end of this, where we're having the awakening. And right now it's the holiday season, and in this northern hemisphere, we are in this like sort of sleepy, energetic state, but it's time to sort of take that sleepy time for the cellular upgrade and like step into this big
Well,
2026 new energy coming in. So
yeah.
that's just,
Yeah.
Love that you say all that too, because it's
yeah.
like we are being called to rest and to like nourish ourselves and to really, have that hibernation, so to speak, right? But February is come like everyone starts the garden in February around here
Mhm.
anyway, right?
Yeah.
And February is coming fast. So we want to take that time of rest. We don't want to skip over that, but we also start planning to plant the seeds. So we're planning to plant the seeds right now in
Mhm.
February at our retreat, which is all about finding who you are divinely meant to be on this earth. And it's one of my super soul callings to be able to um, just be with someone and show them how magic they really are, right?
Mhm.
I love what you just said too of, Bettina, you're being pulled in all of these directions. One of our opening sequences in our retreat is to help people understand all the directions they're actually being pulled. And Molly, you do this beautiful activity that
Yeah.
really brings that present for everyone. And then we transition into being pulling all of our those pieces and parts that we have pieces and parts out there, pulling them back into ourselves. And Bettina, you lead this beautiful somatic reintegration of self. And where are we stuck? And where is it that, just calling out all back in. So it's so divine that we're all three on this this
Mhm.
call. And it's already happening in our lives for this retreat, where it's just all lining up in such a way that we can really take these women. And I always feel like the holidays, I was just sharing with Molly, I have this wonderful relationship coach that I work with, and she's like, yeah, I'm twice as busy this time of year because the holidays are such a crazy time for all the shoulds,
Mhm.
moms serving the families being like two different families. We're married. I'm married. And so we've got this family to please and this family to please, and I have another family to please. Like there's so much going on.
It's
What are,
multiple tables,
what are we
right?
doing? And I would say you don't have to be a mother to come to our retreat. All women are mothers. Let's just say that out, right? Because we are so invested in the community and our families and our friends, our families, like being the center of our communities. And we overserve so much. And so we want to invite you, women that are serving into maybe to the point of exhaustion. It's going to be a place to come and recover from this hectic time. And if you skip over the hibernation, you're going to get some deep soul healing and recovery in this time with us, which I'm very honored to be um, hosting. So, okay, with that, I'm off my soapbox. Um, there's a couple of questions that we came up with. So, as people are starting to ask us questions, Bettina, one was like, "Is this a yoga retreat? What are we planning?" I'd love to hear from you a little bit about like some of the yoga that we're gonna be doing yoga nidra, we're gonna be doing yoga in the morning, like some of the things that you have planned for the physical activity. And I know a
Mhm.
lot of, and like full permission, a lot of what you do is in flow and it's magic that way. So you're going to be serving the group, but some of the things that you're thinking on right now.
Well, For yoga specifically, I think that it would, for myself, I'm would love to go practice. So that's just something that I'd like to offer each morning. I think it would be really nice to go take a stroll down to the beach and do yoga there personally. But I want everything is optional, right? At a retreat, you don't have to do anything. But I feel like it's a great way to start the day, get in some movement, just to prime your mind in the morning. I
Mhm.
typically like to do a more fun, playful movement. In the morning, it would be like more like stretching and functional and
Mhm.
just like whatever the mood kind of calls for, because it does, like
Your
depending
classes
on
are
the
always so
level
fun. Like
and all that.
everyone was different. You were very special in terms of being a yoga teacher.
And then Yoga Nidra is super relaxing and meditative. So I love to offer that. When we do embodiment practice, that'll be something like separate with when appropriate with the itinerary. But as
Mhm.
far as yoga, I think definitely every morning. And if there's space for it at other times, I'm happy to step in and do that. And if people have questions about yoga, I obviously that's one of the things in my wheelhouse to talk about, like just yoga poses, like setup. I've really anything about yoga specifically. People come to me with elements all the time. Sometimes I'm not able to answer because it's not like I'm a doctor, but oftentimes doctors can't answer questions. So
Mhm.
I just, yeah, I love to talk about it. I enjoy movement. I think it's really important to be grounded and embodied.
Yeah.
Obviously, I need that in my life with how it's funny because like so many people have said how grounding I am for them, but it's humorous to me that I'm actually like pretty scattered myself. So it's like I have those practices because I actually need them a lot. And
Mhm.
I think that they're so useful and they can be so useful for everybody. So,
I think some of those things that become our biggest challenges are our greatest gifts too, right? So
correct.
that's
Yes. Yeah.
awesome. And I love that you said stroll to the beach. So we are staying, just to give you a picture, you'll see some of the videos. We're staying in a place that backs to the jungle of Kauai, but overlooks the mountains, and it's this terraced backyard. So we're gonna have these beautiful yoga platforms.
Mhm.
But right out the door, you can walk down to the world famous Hanalei Bay. Like there's no other bay I would rather be in, just so you know. And so I'm thrilled about that.
Which
Um,
also, just one of the things about that Hanalei Bay is it is really sort of like nice and flat, and there are places that are shady if you want to practice in the shade. So it's like, and for that we wouldn't even need mats because the sand is
yeah.
like a great
Oh, yeah.
place to practice on. So
Yeah.
just in addition, it's like a great, like we could do it in the backyard,
Mm.
but either is going to be great.
Yeah. That's so exciting. Um, Molly, you truly are a catalyst. So and a space, and like you really hold space for people. I just love this was an accident actually that Molly was on Zoom, but there are no accidents in life. Um, and Molly and I are working. So just a little background, we're working on some real estate things together. She's a real estate agent. She's also a published poet, which is very exciting. Her book's coming out soon. And you have this passion for helping people in their projects, right? And you've been so helpful for me in my projects when I'm like, okay, I'm feeling the chaos and the pulling in the directions. And you're just like, what about? And you bring the bring it right back down into what's important. And here's an avenue. And like right there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. So talk a little bit about what brought you to this retreat. And like, we had I won't, we're not going to go into it. Maybe people that have, like, if they on the retreat, at the retreat, you can share your story of what happened
Oh, yeah,
last Kauai retreat, but
for
only
sure.
for people that come to the retreat. So what happens at the retreat stays at the retreat. You had a pretty amazing experience, but what since that experience has happened in your life? Because you
Right.
have been catalyzed too.
Yeah. I just really similar to Bettina. I'm also have 150 tabs open all the time. Um, all the time. And in lots of avenues. If you heard April, I'm real estate, I'm a published poet, I'm creating a software company, I do events, I just do none of those things seem to be related. However, I find a way to umbrella them all with myself and then ground that. And I think it's really important with really busy entrepreneurial lives. If you're out doing and being, and that's really busy, or even when you're at home and with your family and doing all the tasks and taking on all the, you're in charge and all the appointments and the mental load. And there's so many ways women show up in their lives as the hub and the pinnacle of all the things. And to me, again, like Bettina, I had to create a system that works for me to ground myself in all of that, because otherwise you might as well commit me. Right. But and be able to complete these ideas and not just leave a bunch of open-ended channels all over the place. I think it's just really important. So that's one thing I focus on, is like trying to create a simple way to move forward in the moment in this life and stay moment to moment instead of in the I should have's and I will as soon as I can or whatever. Instead of that energy, is just staying in the now. And Kauai is the place to do it. That's where creation it happens. I mean, that's the place of creation. It's where molten becomes rock, becomes vegetation, becomes the air and the sea and the birds, and it's all interconnected there. So might as well.
Yeah, I love it. And I will say I had this vision as you're talking about, because you and I have been friends a long time, and I've seen the chaos around you, and you are the rock in the chaos, the calm in the storm, always in any situation I've ever seen you in. So it's definitely, you have a divine gift and you serve a lot of people.
Doesn't mean it doesn't feel like chaos in the middle of it. It's just like if you stay in the middle of the tornado, there's an eye in the storm. And if you can just keep yourself in the middle, you can do it. Everybody can do it. It's just, it's a state of mind, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And a decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's actually fun.
Okay. I do want to keep it short for everyone, just because, it's the holidays. There's a lot going on. I will plant the seed that yes, there's a lot going on. However, you can give yourself a gift of coming to this retreat to like recover from all the chaos of the year and set into the new year with some knowing who you are, a path to the life that and purpose that you love, which is part of like the calm in the storm of always knowing who you are and where you're going. And that's a huge gift, right? We still have payment options. So I know it's the holidays and everyone's thinking about Christmas. So you can just make a payment and then there's a couple more payments you do after the first of the year. Any other thoughts, comments, whatever, before we wrap up? And there's so much to say, but
I was going to say, it's like, people go into the new year and they make their goals and they create their vision board and all this stuff. And this is just like a real in-person vision board. Like you create the one I attended last year created my year. Like none of the things that I have in my world right now would look like they look if I didn't attend that last year. And not only did that happen and I created the world I'm in, which is like the most exciting thing. I could have never imagined that I'm doing the things I'm doing right now. But also I made some great best friends, that I don't ever want to not say yes to go to something that I'm going to find my next best friend, that I know I can call up and I can be like, this is what I'm experiencing. I need an hour with you. Bettina like gets on with me and then gives me this like direction when I was having a moment where I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Should I be building a software company? That's weird.
Yeah,
Um,
Bettina, you also are incredibly gifted. Like you've been able to like do a reading for somebody and just be and everyone I send to you are they're like, "Oh my gosh, I that girl is so talented. I feel so confident in what's going on now," and they're so
Thank
grateful. So I don't know if I tell you that enough, but
it's just a space to
you.
be seen and heard and create these intentions and literally build your life. You,
Yeah.
you
yeah.
know.
All right.
I think there's just like a lot of really awesome people out there that just, well, I mean, us included, where it's like you can see everybody else's light, but you can't always see your own.
Mhm.
So it's like, they're so great. There's no way I'm that, and then it's like, actually, you are. Actually, you are exactly that. And let me be a mirror for you. Yeah, love
Mhm.
that. Thank
Yeah, you guys are treasures.
you.
Yeah. Like, all right.
Likewise,
Mwah,
Mom.
mwah. Come join us.
All right.
Bye, ladies.
Bye.
Bye.